I'm recording. So here we are again.
Okay, yeah, we'll put that out here. This is the second time because of Shanna's malfunction. Actually, it's not my malfunction. It's that stupid little program's malfunction that I've been trying to use. Malfunction. Okay. Anyway, so we get to do this again.
Yay!
That's okay. Your bright, shining face.
Yeah, so
I don't mind at all.
So everybody, this is Gary Bohannon, and he has been with us from the start, haven't you?
I think so. I think so. I was a fan of yours before you started the Inspired to Paint.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. And then you discovered Shanna.
Yes, yes.
Well, great. Well, we're so happy that you're joined us, and we've been so impressed with all that you're doing. And
Oh, so good. You got great work. You've been putting out just some great work.
Oh, well, thank you.
Makes us
Thank you.
very happy.
right, so we want to do this interview so other people can get to know you.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
What brought you to painting? How long have you been at it? And how much time do you spend doing it throughout the week?
What brought me to painting? Originally, my parents, I grew up on the central coast of California, and my mom, she was kind of like an art collector. We would go to Monterey, Carmel, to galleries, and she amassed, a nice little collection of like California Impressionists, a lot of really cool sort of minimalist watercolors that I really loved. And so that was the initial start. Then a field trip to the Palace of the Legion of Honor in San Francisco. That was the first time I saw like real live French Impressionist art. And I was, fourth, fifth grade. I was just a little kid. And my folks took me to the Art Institute of Chicago the following summer. And that's where I really was introduced to the Impressionist thing. And I just loved it. As far as painting, this story differs a little bit from the last story I'll tell. I'll go ahead and cop to this. I was having some real problems with. I'm a musician, and I was having some real problems with my marriage in 1998. And I went out to a rehab center for a 1-week workshop. And it was, it was like a personal growth workshop. And I was really going through a lot of depression. And it really helped. It was great being out there. So I just checked myself in. And, I had some issues. I had some things that I had to work on. And so I spent, like 2 months out there. And one day they marched us into this like art room and sat us down, and there were some watercolors and they said, paint the self-portrait. So,
Oh, that's not asking much.
yeah, there was like a mirror, on a stand and some watercolors, and it was like, we want you to paint a self-portrait. So I was kind of like,
Oh,
what do I do now? So I took the mirror and faced it down on the table. And I painted this really impressionist tree because I wanted to be a tree. I wanted to be rooted. I felt like everything in my life was kind of coming apart. And I really wanted to be a tree. I wanted to be like responsible. I wanted to be solid. And I was a tree. At that time, a tree was everything that I was not. I was as flaky as could be. So, I painted a tree. I still have it.
I
And
get that. I understand that.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it so much that when I came home, the first thing I did literally was go to the art store and buy all sorts of paints and canvas and paper and pencils and just the whole bit, and some books. And I just started, and I remember my wife came home one day and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, she wasn't real happy that I was a musician because I was never home. I mean, I was here, there, Europe, everywhere, And I was like, and she wanted some time with me. And and I'm like, well, I'm going to learn how to paint.
By myself.
Yeah, yeah. And she was like, oh, this isn't going to be any good. So she wasn't real happy about that. And long story short, the wife left, but the painting stayed. So that was all good.
We want your links to your musician. Did you send? Oh, okay, you got him. I didn't get him, so yeah, I want to watch them.
Yeah,
I want to see.
They're very cool. Very cool.
Well, thank you. So yeah, that was that. And I think I mentioned last time there used to be this place here called the Tennessee Art League, and I joined up, and they had like almost free lessons. You could get like a painting lesson for $5 from somebody who was really good. And so I signed up for a few of those, and you could show up to 3 pieces of your work per month and sell them. They had customers. It was like a gallery. It was like this gallery hangout place. It was really cool.
Nice.
Yeah. And so I actually sold some stuff, and I got some portrait commissions, and I got a lot of copy commissions. A lot of people, can you copy this Renoir? And I was like, sure, why not? So, I did a lot of that. And then the music thing kicked back in. So I put down the paintbrush for a long time. And the summer before this last one, I was walking through my house one day, and I was like, I've always been threatening myself to start painting ever since. And I was just like, okay, it's time to start, because I really wanted to do it. And that's where I'm at now.
That's so cool. So you've always had a creative, artistic brain, and this just found its way back in.
Yeah. It's all expression can take a lot of different forms. Music, art,
dance,
writing.
Yeah, they all
dance.
They tie in together. There's a rhythm to them all. There's an organization to them all that all tie in together.
I think that's why musicians or dancers, actually make really good painters, and painters make good musicians, because we understand that that
organization,
right, and the flow of music and the notes or the painting. We understand that. So, but
it's the same. Yeah, it's like the same thing drives all creative endeavors. It's just which road you want to go down to express it.
Yeah, what your medium is, how you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, you do a beautiful job with painting too. So, and how do you paint?
How much do I paint? I paint every day. Sometimes it's watercolor, sometimes it's just sketching, and sometimes it's an hour, and sometimes I really lose myself, and it's like, oh my God, the sun's going down. I can't wait to get up in the morning, and I make coffee, and I kind of wait for the sun to come up. I have this beautiful studio with tons of it's got this giant window that faces directly north.
Oh, nice.
So I'm really, really blessed with that. So I've got great light here, and I just sit around and sketch or something, or work on ideas. And then when there's enough light, I'll start painting.
That's amazing. And I can't remember, did you send me photos of your studio?
I think I sent a couple. I'll send some more. I think I need to send you one of me in it.
Yes.
Well, yes, we want you in the studio. Okay. What is your favorite genre when painting?
Probably expressionist, or not expressionist, impressionist. I do like realism. There's a lot of things. I mean, I love the old masters. I love all that brown and gray stuff, that they do. I love tonalism. Oh, I totally love tonalism. There's nothing more fun for me than to go to a great museum, especially like the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam, or any of the great museums in Paris, and just look at the old. I remember just spending days on end at the Louvre. You walk into the Louvre, and the first room you walk into has the Coronation of Josephine by Jacques-Louis David, and that thing's like 50 feet long and 30 feet high, and it's like, how did he do that?
Can you imagine? Well, that is one thing that really impresses me from our conversations throughout this thing is your knowledge of art history is very extensive. And that's not something everybody gets into, but I think it adds so much to your work because you're so familiar with different artists and why they do what they do. And like I've always said, when you study art history, it gives you permission to do what you want to do by watching other people that did what they wanted to do.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I have a degree in history, and I've always been interested in it. I love to read. There's always a stack of books on my nightstand, and it's one of my favorite things to do. And just painters are so fascinating. Artists are fascinating, just like musicians.
Yes, we're a tribe now. We're not normal.
We're not normal.
No, no,
We're normal to us,
but we're not normal to the rest of the world. So what do you like to paint? What subject matter?
I love landscapes. I love flowers. I really love color. I think that's what drew me to Elizabeth's paintings off the bat. I live in this beautiful neighborhood and everybody has gorgeous gardens. And when I go walking around, I'll just take pictures of all these flowers. And I just love color. I love really bright, beautiful color. And thanks to you, thanks to Shanna, I've started to embrace the whole idea of gray. And that gray is a beautiful color too.
It is. We have a running joke between us that there's a Shanna yellow and there's a Liz yellow, and
the two do not go together.
They're complete scale.
I always think I'm really, really gray though until I get my work up hanging next to other people who are really good at gray, and then I realize I have a lot of color in my work, a lot more than I thought.
Well, and then the one thing is we went up to Park City yesterday, and we were delivering artwork to the gallery up there, and I'm thinking my work has a lot of color, but there was another artist there who was extremely colorful,
straight out of the tube,
more colorful than me.
Yeah,
so that was
that's saying something.
Yeah, it was straight out of the tube color. Yeah, it looked like he had studied with or taught with or was an admirer of Wayne Thiebaud's work to me. Those blue, crystal blues and greens, and
everything's relative.
Beautiful. Everything is relative. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's all about making the relationships work.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've learned on Inspired to Paint is I knew this from reading about it, and I tried to incorporate it in my paintings, but I couldn't really do it until I started studying with you, Shanna. Is the way to make a color pop is to, you got to have gray.
Yeah.
You have to gray down things, and then the thing you really want people to look at, then you let that go. You really hit that.
Yeah.
So that's
predominantly colorful with a little gray, or predominantly gray with a little color. One way or the other, that contrast is going to jump out.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Is there one or two things that have helped your progress and given you confidence in your voice and ability?
Yeah, there is. Practice. That's like the most important thing. I mean, I just, you can't get good at anything. You can't do anything artistically until people talk about talent. I don't think there's talent. I don't think talent's not a thing. Talent's something you develop through practice. You don't, Jimi Hendrix wasn't born and didn't play a Stratocaster the way he did without playing for hours a day.
Yeah.
And you guys don't paint the way you do without doing it for a long time. So that's that realization, it's like I gave myself a break. I used to be so hard on myself, I had this perfectionist thing, and I was like, oh, this is horrible. I'd get out the knife and I'd scrape it off, or I'd throw the canvas away, and now I just, I'm okay with this is all a journey. So that's been the biggest sort of like turning point for me.
Those are the best paintings too, when you can almost feel that journey of the artist inside that painting, not one that's perfect. Who wants a perfect painting? It's one that has life to
Right.
it. You know? Oh, it has a journey in it.
You know what's
Oh, yeah.
interesting, and as a musician, you know this because we both play the piano. And when you're learning to play a song or memorizing it, you play it over and over and over and over and over again, practicing it until that moment that you're playing it in front of people, and then that's the grand event. But you have spent hours and hours and hours and hours sitting there playing that piano and learning that song or the violin or whatever instrument. We at painting, for some reason, have this notion that every single time we step up to the easel, it has to be perfect, which
it's ridiculous.
it's ridiculous
It's
that we
ridiculous.
put that much pressure on us. And so if we were just to
Oh, yeah.
get that notion that it's no different than any other discipline, learning the piano or an athlete. You know, I was an athlete in my younger days, and it was, again, hours and hours and hours at the gym until that one time, you know, there you were.
Something happens. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But one of the things that I learned when I was learning how to play music, especially when I came here and started playing, because there's a zillion great guitar players in this town, and there's an old saying here: an amateur practices until they get it right. A professional practices until they can't get it wrong. And that's a big difference.
That's a big
That's a good one.
difference.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it. And let's see, tell me about your favorite painting that you have accomplished. And
My favorite painting. I did a painting recently of some cypress trees that I really like.
ooh, I can't wait to see. I love cypress trees.
Yeah, I love cypress trees. I love the Central Coast, all the hills and the browns and the greens and the colors. And those trees are they just look like survivors. You know, they're so beat up looking, but they're beautiful to me.
They
All
are.
twisted and knotted.
And they're reaching out for life in all
Oh,
directions.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're usually like growing out of rocks. They're usually surrounded by rocks. So they're cool trees.
That's what we are. We're all survivors.
So that's funny about the tree being survivors. And that's why you love trees. When I was a little girl, my grandmother used to always say about pansies, how pansies were survivors. And that, I think that's funny, that correlates with what I paint and what you paint.
And what I paint, right, exactly. I went through when I went through a divorce, I went through a stage that I called my single tree stage. And every painting, the funny thing is I didn't really realize that's what I was doing, because we just paint what we're attracted to. And I had two gallery owners take me to dinner one night, and they both said to me, okay, we have to tell you this. Enough with the single trees and the stormy skies, okay? I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't even know that, but yeah.
Yeah, you say you still have that. I want an image of that, of that painting.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to see it.
I sold it, but I think I have a picture of it. Yeah.
Is there an artist, living or dead, that has really had an impact on who you are as an artist and what you love to do?
Elizabeth.
Yeah, wonderful. That's beautiful.
That's sweet. Thank you. That means the world.
That's beautiful.
That's why we started this site.
No, I remember I was desperate to try and figure out how to paint roses, and I was looking all over the internet. You know, there's a zillion. You know, you type in red roses in oil paint, and a lot of stuff comes up, and the ones that I liked all were Elizabeth Robb.
I love that.
That's nice. Well, I do love red roses.
What about art history? What about dead artists? Which
almost dead.
No, you're not. You've got a long ways to go.
Not quite dead yet.
No, she's got a long ways to go.
Oh, well, you know, the usual suspects. Rembrandt, I love Rembrandt. All the Dutch guys, Frans Hals. There was a Dutch landscape painter named Van Ruysdael that was one of my favorites. He was incredible. He was a big influence on Turner. Turner, for sure. I love Turner. Whistler. all those guys with those long names. um, John Singer Sargent. I love Sargent stuff. You know, his portraits are just incredible to see in person, and all of his other stuff that I guess is impressionist. He's not really identified as an impressionist, but certainly it looks impressionistic the way he paints. Let's see. Oh boy, Dwight Tryon, John Twachtman is one of my favorites.
One of my he's in the top 5 for me.
Oh yeah, Henry Ward Ranger's one of my favorites.
Love his too. And J. Francis Murphy, have you seen his work too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Incredible.
So yeah, those guys. Bertha Morisot is one of my absolute favorites. One of my all-time favorite paintings is one of her paintings that's in the Chicago Art Institute, and it's like this tour de force brushwork. It's like, you know, you can tell she studied with Manet, and Manet is another one. I love Manet.
His value patterns are so strong. He just reduces it to almost a light and a dark. They're just amazing.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it would have been fun to watch him paint. I've read so many stories about what a show off he was as far as painting. He loved having people watch him paint. And they said, you know, like he just flicked the brush and something would appear. And I love that. It's almost like an alchemy thing.
Well, that's kind of like what she does. Voila! Yeah. There's a painting.
Not true.
She does that. She has that little flourish, the way she moves her brush. I love it.
She does.
I do a lot of flicking.
You do.
When I watch myself paint.
Yep. That little thing. It's fun to watch.
I don't even know I do it when I'm painting.
Yeah, it's fun to watch.
It was fun to watch that poinsettia side by side.
The two of us painting different.
Have you watched that video yet?
Not yet. I haven't seen that yet.
It's on the free videos now, and we did a 1-hour challenge, and we did a split screen where you're seeing both of us at the same time, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
This, and I'm doing this. I got some weird thing I do too. We all have our little weird things we do.
Shanna's all over the place.
My hands are just going.
I need to tie her hands behind her back when she talks.
I love the stuff that you did recently in Mississippi that was real fast. It was like real fast and loose. And it was, you know, it had kind of an impressionist thing to it. And you did some sunflowers.
Oh, the demos I did for.
Yeah, the workshop you did in Mississippi. You posted some pictures on Instagram.
I think sometimes some of my I do a lot of quick draws are some of my best paintings because I am painting so intuitively, and I can't stop. I don't stop in my brain and second guess myself. I just paint, and I mean that's when I do a really good work. When I slow down and I overthink it, then I mess up. So.
Oh yeah.
Fast.
Yeah. You have to listen to your painting speak to you. You have to listen to what it's telling you to do next.
That's true. I've recently, you know, in the last few months, started to be able to feel that when I paint. And sometimes, I mean, some days when it's really going well, it's like it's almost like meditation. It's like I'm not thinking about what I'm doing. I'm not thinking about color. I'm not thinking about anything. It just happens.
Yeah, that's painting
really.
Yeah, we kind of call that channeling. You know, if you have any kind of spiritual background, it's almost like channeling something beyond yourself.
When
that happens.
It's happened a couple times, and it's pretty awesome. Yeah. You kind of almost step back when you're through, and you kind of come out of the trance, and you go,
"Where'd that come from?"
I just. That's fun.
So where do you want to be in 1 year from now? What would you like to be doing 1 year from now with your artwork?
I would like to be in a gallery and traveling. I love to travel, and this lockdown thing, it's been a little rough. So I can't wait to get in my car and just drive to California. Can't wait to drive to Utah and see my cousin.
Utah, you got to come to Utah.
And come see you guys and hang out. And
Yes.
yeah. So
And
that's what I want to be
plein
doing.
air paint?
Pardon?
Do you love to plein air paint?
I've only done it a couple of times. I'm not a real outdoorsy kind of guy. I mean, I like the outdoors and all that, but like camping, no, thanks. My idea of camping is a hotel that has room service closing before midnight. That's not good. So, yeah. But no, I mean, yeah, I like going. I love to be outside and stuff like that, but I like to go into a building to sleep. So, yeah. But yeah, in a year I want to be traveling, and I want to try the plein air thing. I haven't really given it a shot.
You'd
like
like
to go back to a hotel and sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
But usually you can. I think you would really enjoy doing those.
I want to give it a shot. I really haven't. So I'm going to give it a try.
Okay, we're going to hold you accountable.
Okay.
And in 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I gave this some thought, and definitely in a gallery or two, maybe more galleries, definitely able to support myself with painting. And, you know, if that doesn't happen, that's okay, because I paint because I love to do it. I always get hung up on that. You know, it's funny. All my life, I've been I'm a blues musician, a blues guitar player. When you play blues and R&B, it's a real in-the-moment thing. And I think that's the way my personality's kind of wired. So it's hard to think, you know, that far down the road.
It's good sometimes, though, to have that vision of that goal of direction. I mean, you'll take a million different paths during that period of time, but it's kind of nice to have an idea of, yeah, you know what, I really would like to do this for a living. And really, the only reason why we all do it for a living is so we can keep doing it. So we don't get another job.
Yeah, I don't think anybody goes into painting to become rich.
Yeah,
but
No.
Because you just can't quit.
My brother says, well, Liz, what are you going to do when you retire? I said, I'm going to do the same thing I'm doing right now. I'm going to be painting. That's exactly what I'm going to do because I love it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then I say, well, I'll probably never be able to retire because I'm an artist.
But people work their whole lives to retire so they can do
what we're doing.
So we're pretty lucky, actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What else would you like to share with us about your work or experiences or you or?
Love to cook.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Love to cook. Love to walk. I come from this family of people that love to walk. My grandfather, when I was a little kid, I spent all my summers in Utah, this little town called Delta. And
we know Delta.
Every day, my grandfather would walk me to one of my uncle's farms, and they were, you know, not too far away. And we just walked all the time, and I still do it. And whenever I do it, I think of him. So it's a
wonderful memory.
Yeah, yeah. And love to travel. Love to just get on a plane, a boat, car, whatever, and go. So, yeah.
Spontaneous. Very spontaneous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Most of all, I love to paint. So.
Very well. And it shows.
And it shows.
It shows in your, how much you love it. We are excited to share your work with everybody.
We are.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate
the other question.
I hit everything there.
Oh,
I hit everything on the list.
Okay. Well,
we want you to come to Utah. Come paint with us.
I would love to.
It's
sounds like it
here, but I mean, it's beautiful in Tennessee too. But it's beautiful.
Oh yeah, Utah's gorgeous. It's like driving around in an old John Ford movie. You know, literally. It's like driving around in a Western. It's really cool Western. It's just gorgeous country.
Yeah, and what I love about Utah is that southern Utah, you get the red rocks and, you know, the dry desert and low altitude desert, but up here you get the higher desert and pines and aspens and the mountains, and oh my gosh, it's just it is. There's beautiful lakes. It's just a beautiful place.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah. My mom went to nursing school at this place called St. Mary's of the Wasatch, which unfortunately isn't there anymore. It was up in the mountains east of Salt Lake. And it may be by your cabin.
I'd say
it's by Park City.
But it was by Park City then.
I'll have to find out where it was, but I have all her books and I have all these photographs of the place, and it was a gorgeous school. It was a convent.
Oh.
And it was like a Catholic convent. And it was a nursing school. I went to nursing school there.
Well, that's cool.
So yeah, beautiful place. And I've been, there's a real contrast between southern Utah and northern Utah that's really fun to see.
Totally different.
Yeah.
We think that it's green up here in northern Utah until we go back to North Carolina or Tennessee and realize we're not green at all.
I remember the first time when I was a kid in the 70s, I raced motocross, and I did a lot of traveling. And I remember the first time I came out here, and I was just like, you know, because I'm a Westerner, and I thought we had trees out west, and came out here, and I was like, oh my God,
there's a lot of trees.
A lot of trees.
Vine upon tree upon tree upon vine upon tree.
Oh, exactly. I mean, in the West, you're used to these big vistas, you know, the wide open spaces, and here you're lucky if you can see across the street.
And the lighting is completely different. It's like the filter of humidity changes all the color, and we don't have that humidity.
No.
We
have inversion layers. Is what we get.
Yeah, we have inversion in the winter.
Yeah. Are those Sargent and Rembrandt copies behind you that you've done?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's awesome.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and I see color charts behind you.
Yep.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Patience.
Color card. Rembrandt, Madame X. I couldn't figure out what to do with her left hand, so I just put a pocket in her dress and put her hand in her pocket.
Pocket. That's a good idea.
Oh, well, that's awesome. You can learn a lot from copying old masters.
We plan on doing
a lesson
on that.
Yeah.
In our midst of 100 ideas that we have, which
that's a great idea. That's a great way to learn.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, anything else you want to share before we close?
Just I appreciate this opportunity. It's been wonderful meeting you two, and Inspired to Paint is really been a game changer for me. I've learned so much, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
And do you appreciate being interviewed twice?
I do. And if this doesn't work, I'm really looking forward to it.
This time, if it doesn't work, it's on her, not on me.
Well, we're so grateful for, you know, all that you're doing and the good reviews that you've given Inspired to Paint. We sure appreciate it.
And I love our conversations when you email about me about art history. I have appreciated that so much.
So, well, thank you. Thank you. Like, it's fun to have someone to talk to about all this.
Soul partners.
Yeah, I come over and tell her he likes Whistler. It's pretty cute.
And then she'll say a name, and I'll say who. Anyway, we are so grateful for what you do, and you're the reason why we do this. So we're appreciative. So
I'm glad to be a part of it. It's fun.
All right.
Okay, we hope to talk to you again soon, but not because there's a mess up on the interview.
Technical error.
Yeah.
Call anytime. I stay up late. So okay. It's all good.
Sounds great.
All right.
Okay.
Take care, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
Bye-bye.
You bet. Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye. You too.